I'm back, babes, and so are Bella, Edward, and Jacob. Last year it was for a bet. This year, it's a commitment to the bit. You can run, but you can't get away from Twogust. New year, new Missy, new Twoon. Twogust, day 31. And what a month it has been. A new Twoon has risen and it has fallen, but not before its moonlight shines upon us once more. And
a blue super Twoon. Really.
Oh, yes, a blue super Twoon. That voice, of course. Alice, the trans fairy godmother of this podcast and of myself. Happy Twogust. Happy second year, the second annual Twogust.
Missy, I've been listening to this month's Twogust.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
I'm never okay.
You doing all right?
I'm never okay. Do you regret getting this going, getting this ball rolling that has become a monster?
I'm having a great time. I love as we established last year, I love Twilight.
Oh, yes, of course. So you predicted that I would like this film, and you've also said I would like this film probably the most out of all of the films.
The first three. Well, I can only speak for the first three because I've only seen the first three. I've never seen 4 and 5, the two Breaking Dawn parts. I'm honestly scared because that book is unadaptable.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, so... this is the book. This is the Team Jacob book, essentially.
Yeah.
Book 1/movie 1 is Team Edward. Book 2 is Team Jacob. Book 3 is the conclusion to the love triangle.
I'm very excited to see that conclusion come to a close. I know where it ends up, in terms of things squared off, but how they get there, oh boy, and the ups and downs, and how. I just feel like toward the end of the film, there's just two villains in this story, even at the end of it. And I don't want her to have to pick either one of them. But, waiting to see next year what builds and what changes in the relationships as we see them. This movie had it all. It had hot vampires, shirtless werewolves. It had... older frat boys. It had cliffs. It had chases. It
had Alice in an incredible outfit.
It had Alice with a stunning headscarf blaring down the Italian highway in a yellow sports car
and red leather driving gloves.
Oh, of course, yes, to match. It has vampire law and court. And all of this gorgeous stuff, it was like, I forget how the first one was shot. This one was shot really well. Like, I really enjoyed looking at this movie, which I don't remember enjoying looking at the first film all that much. I don't know what it is about it, even though it's some of the same locations.
The first film was directed by Catherine Hardwicke, most notably of directing the movie 13 with... what is her name? Westwood, Three Names.
What
is her name?
Evan Rachel Wood.
Evan Rachel Wood, yes. So, she wrote and directed the movie 13, which featured Evan Rachel Wood and another actress whose names I cannot remember. And so they got her to move to shoot Twilight. I don't think it was a great fit. They didn't bring her back. As you saw, like a lot more like dramatic camera movement, a lot more action. I think there was also just at this point a lot more understanding of what worked and didn't work in Twilight. That helped them with this. But yeah, no, it's a much more visually interesting movie. I'm curious. So I saw this movie having read all 4 of the books in one quick succession. It was, I forget what year it is, like 2010, 2008 probably. It came out at Thanksgiving time that year. I saw it. Do you know the Winchester Mystery House is?
I do know what the Winchester Mystery House is, yes.
So the Winchester Mystery House is also just a tourist attraction in San Jose, California now, and there's a movie theater that shares a parking lot with the Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, really? That's fucking funny.
Which is where I went to like an 11 a.m. screening of New Moon, where there was like me and two other people in the theater, but I had a wonderful time. I saw that movie and I remember really liking it at the time. I was still really high on my Twilight fandom, and then it kind of petered off before Eclipse came out, and at that point I kind of moved on. But yeah, what did you think of the story of New Moon?
Well, before we get to that, I do have to point out the other person in 13 was Nikki Reed, who you would know from Twilight as Rosalia Hale.
Yes, that's right. That was the other connection. She, Catherine Hardwicke brought a girl back give her some work.
Yes, exactly. So this story. So the one thing we need to address that I didn't realize and maybe warned me was odd is how long Edward's gone from it. He's gone for 70. Well, he doesn't see Bella again for 73 minutes of this film. Now, he appears as apparitions, and we do see him 10 minutes before the two of them meet, because it's basically the entire sequence of it. But
do you understand what the apparitions thing was? I wasn't sure from listening to the podcast if you got it.
Was it a actual psychic connection, or was it her having a memory feeling of like, is this what Edward would say? I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. I don't know if this was psychosomatic or real.
It was psychosomatic. It was her. She basically, what happens is every time she found herself in grave danger, she saw a vision of Edward telling her not to do it, like imagining what he would say, and that is why she keeps making these impulsive, risky choices. That's why she gets on the bike when she goes to the movie with Jessica. It's why she wants to go on the motorbikes and why she wants to jump off the cliff and stuff. Is she misses Edward so much that the only way she can see him is by putting herself in grave danger.
Oh my fucking god. This is like Flatliners, but for Edward, in a little sense of like, not obviously like stopping her heart, but just like she has to get as close to it. So jumping off a cliff was because that's the only way she could see Edward, was in her mind thinking of him telling her, don't jump off a cliff, essentially, don't do it. So I can also read this as a woman who is so traumatized by her abusive ex-boyfriend that she just keeps seeing him in moments that she would be having fun. But obviously the film and her perception is not meant to show it that way. Wild. She's getting like, okay, I did not get that from the film at all. So truly, he's not busy. And I didn't think, there's nothing that indicated he was pushing that in there, but I didn't know if it was like a Destiny Bond more thing, where it's like, he's popping up because there's something so intertwined between them that it's not him that's doing it, but literally a message from the ether is being sent out.
It is her subconscious, because the whole thing is he can't read her thoughts, right?
Yeah.
That keeps coming up. That actually has... That gets explained in, I think, a fairly satisfying way later in the series, so don't worry about that too much. I'm not going to say anymore.
I didn't even think about it.
But yeah. So, like, because you had talked about, like, why can't anyone read her thoughts? There's a reason for it, and it does get explained. So, but that's why when she jumps off the cliff, Alice sees Bella jumping off the cliff. Edward sees in Alice's mind that Bella jumped off the cliff. He thinks she's dead. That's why he's gonna go suicide himself by Volturi, and that's why Alice has to come and get Bella to prove that she's alive.
I just figured that someone had told him she died, and that whoever that was had a vested interest in Edward being out of the picture, because it just made it seem like Alice was like, he thought that you died. I didn't realize that it was because he read her thoughts, like much like we see I can't remember the character's name, but Michael Sheen's character. Yes, Michael Sheen's character.
Yeah.
Arlo, I believe it is. Read Alice's thoughts to see what she sees in the future, which I don't know if she was projecting that or not. Don't tell me, but I was curious. I'm curious to know if that is what she actually sees in the future for them, or if that's just what she made Arlo see that she sees in the future for them.
No. I will tell you that it is her belief of what the future is. Obviously, that's not always a complete picture, and it's not guaranteed because we have, like, it's not predestination. But but that wasn't a trick that Alice was playing, as far as I know. I believe she sees a vision of Edward and Edward and Bella running through a forest where Bella's a
Okay,
vampire.
good. Yeah, so the story of connecting with her and Jacob, I liked their friendship a lot. Their friendship was fun. It was interesting. There was a lot of healing that I felt like she could have been doing during that time. And then he fucks it. And then he fucks it by being pushy and basically being like, I'm not going to let go of my romantic interest with you. And I'm not interested in just being friends. And so now I'm going to become like super possessive of you in a way just like Edward is super possessive of. But as Bella, says at the end, don't make me pick because
that Bella
don't
likes
make me pick because I'm going to pick him.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Edward if you make me pick. So don't make me pick.
Right. But she likes being pushed around, so
yeah, kind of, yeah, exactly. So it's I find the character development growth of Jacob fascinating, from his having to accept, I'm assuming his metamorphosis toward a wolf is beginning, and this is the first times that he's getting his wolf powers is during this era as well.
Yeah, during this movie,
exactly. Yes. And that's why he cuts his hair and he gets more moody. Yes. And
well, yeah, there's a scene where her and Jacob and Mike go to the movies together. Yes. It was supposed to be a big group hang, and then Mike gets sick, and then he gets really pissed off at her, at Mike, and threatens him. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, just get out of here. And then the next time you see him, he says, I can't be near you. You got to stay away from me. That's because he's turning into a wolf. He doesn't know that he's going to turn into a wolf, because earlier in the movie they show you he's like, yeah, those guys just all start hanging out without their shirts on. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, they're just being dudes, because Bella stops because one of them is thrown off a cliff, and she's like, oh my fucking god, they just threw someone off a cliff. He's like, no, look, they're cliff jumping. They just have to, you have to get these people used to doing it eventually. You got to sink or swim.
And Bella's like, what if it was me? What if it was me jumping off that cliff?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, Edward, would you say no, naughty baby, no? Something I have to point out in the theater scene, which I talked about on the Grand Trivia last night. We're doing the Twagus Trivia. I had a question on what I said were the fake movie posters in the theater, because they mentioned the film Love is Love backwards, which it isn't, obviously, and another film that they end up seeing called Face Punch. So I was looking at the posters in the theater to see what other fictional films there were. And there was a poster for a film called Parking, but like done in Saw font. So it was something like that. Then there was other films, one of them called Generals, Gods, and LSD. Gambling, Gods, and LSD. Another one called Pontypoint. And then another one called Mile Zero. And so I was like, which of these is the fictional movie that they go see? And the fictional movie they go see is Face Punch. The Gay Love is the other one. What I didn't know is that the other movie posters, apart from the parking one, are not fictional posters. Those are 3 real Canadian movies. And they filmed at a Canadian theater. So those 3 posters were from different time frames too. They weren't from like close together. So I don't know if they were.
So it wasn't just they weren't just screening those movies simultaneously.
No, so I don't know if this was the theater doing an Easter egg, if literally that's just what they had showing at the time, and they just said, oh, here, we'll just put 3 fake posters in for this shot or whatever. But I wonder, I
bet the set designer worked on those movies or something, or like those movies.
My guess was someone connected to it knew those ones, and those were not picked by it. But because I was commenting on, they put work into these fake posters. I was like, wow, someone actually did some work on these, and stuff. And then all of a sudden someone looked it up, and because someone in the chat was like, no, Pontypoint's a real film. That's the way I'm like, wait, what? So then I just started looking up all of them and was like, holy shit, these 3 are real. But yeah, Pontypoint is a Canadian, I believe, horror film. Mile Zero was a film that had Christian Slater in it randomly, about racing. And then The Gambling, Gods, and LSD, I believe, was a documentary film, but I didn't really see that much about what it was about. I was more baffled that they were all real. But yes, so I have to point out to anyone who's listened throughout August and was as obsessed with those fake movie posters, not all of them were fake.
Thankfully, Love Spelled Backward is Love is
that is one is not real
on MTV where the director said he made it up, and I'm very happy. I sent you. I'll just read it here because I want to say it out again. I sent you what I thought the log line for the movie Love Spelled Backward is Love is, which is a romantic comedy where there's an autistic or neuroatypical girl in high school obsessed with words and palindromes, falls in love with the school newspaper editor who can't stop correcting her.
Because that isn't actually love backwards, of course, and that's the point. It isn't what you think it is. But yes,
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I didn't think it was interesting that the will they won't they wasn't as strong in this as I thought it was going to be, because she very much was won't they. You know, Bella doesn't. She gives in maybe a. She looks like she's going to give in a couple times. Like, they always get close to kissing, but never actually do, which poor Jacob. Like, oh my God, to get so close to kissing and to have to get denied that much. Like, those poor wolf testicles are probably so swollen with blue balls. That poor wolf. Do you...
You know that when he became a wolf, he just, like, started coming uncontrollably for, like, 10
Exactly.
minutes.
Like, that's the thing that...
That's why they have to wear
to jump into the water all the time, is to clean it all off. Exactly. I do have to comment on this sort of weird Hulk logic where all of them are running around shirtless in jean shorts and like no shoes. And apparently do they just keep a pair of jean shorts around at all points? Is it something that, you know, is Sarah, the wife, running them out to them when they're done transforming? I don't understand the Hulk logic of, yeah, they can just have these pants on and they just, you know, will go with size apparently and, you know, magically reappear when they need them to afterwards. Or that's just the only clothes they wear at any point because they don't know when they're going to turn into a wolf. And so they don't want to rip all the nice clothes, and I only will wear these nice jean shorts that I'll then, you know, bust through when I transform.
I want to say, I think in the books there is an explanation for it. I don't remember what it is, but the wife running pants to the wolves does sound familiar. Honestly.
Oh, that's hilarious, and I'm glad that I may have accidentally nailed that. Yeah, and so that really is most of the film, is sort of seeing their dynamic, and then also Jacob developing, because then Alice comes back and is like, whoa, yes. What the hell? Like, Edward thinks you're dead. You're alive. Yeah. Like, we don't know what's going on. And, you got, you know, it smells like wet dog here. Oh, that's probably Jacob. And then she's like, oh, those werewolves. She's the first one that says werewolf in, I believe, the franchise, which I thought was fascinating.
Yep.
And so it kind of establishes, you know, the bad blood between them. And Jacob really fucking hates that she's there. Like, he...
Well, yeah, because
now
that he's aware... now that he's
love lost for her, sorry.
Yeah, now that he's fully werewolf, he can barely contain how much he wants to kill.
And Alice is just sort of like, I mean, I find you unpleasant, but she's trying to be much more above it all. And it's also just a sarcastic, wonderful bitch anyways. Alice is the performance of this movie. She was like the best character in this by far. I need to give a shout out to the actress Ashley Greene. Really knowing what that character is, what to do with that role, making the most out of it. And I'm glad that she got a significant role in this. Like, Alice had a role in this movie, because had she not come in to interrupt things going on, I probably wouldn't have liked this as much as I did. But just, you heard me talk about it all the time in Twagus. Vampire Law, when are we getting Vampire Law? When's that coming back?
Yeah, I was listening and I was like, oh, it's coming.
I figured it was, because you don't show us that, you know, go from an oil painting with a terribly photoshopped Michael Sheen in it, you know, and show us him earlier, to not turn around and then show us him later when that gets done.
So that's my question. Was there enough Vampire Law for you?
There was enough to make this tasty and make me want more. I got a good sampling of it. I was shocked when they just introduced, maybe they showed her earlier, but when Dakota Fanning just popped up like in the last 20 minutes, it was like, and I'm here, and I'm even more powerful than you could imagine, was fantastic. But I love them. I love weird, creepy, pale, pasty vampire. I love aristocrats, like all that whole hoity-toity, like when British people get to be the villains and be foppish and
old money,
and maybe even in a slightly hungover way from queer coding back in the day. I don't care, you know. Just seeing Michael Sheen who's Welsh and not actually English, just deliver that absolutely killer English accent, who's the lead, besides being the leader of the Italian vampire coven, the Volturi. But that is said.
They predate all of these regions.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, that's one of the things that make me laugh is when they're like, "Oh, we need to summon all the vampires. Will you get me Jane?" And you're like, "Okay." And then you're like, "Oh no, Jane's one of the most powerful vampires in here." Like, "Oh, sure, fine." Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was weird. I don't know. It sort of is weird to have Edward Cullen just basically be suicidal at the end of it. Bella runs in, saves him, and then we see him go like super nutso vampire strength against the other vampire big guy, and then sort of like has to walk out in the end. But I just thought he was a bit of a weenie this film. Edward just wasn't impressive except for, that one moment, but apparently he was just using his vampire powers anyways. Because it's just sort of like, okay, Bella dies and you're just going to give up, I guess. Like, okay, sure. Like, I don't know. It's very Romeo and Juliet that they've known each other for a year.
Yeah.
And like, you're going to kill yourself over a girl that you've barely known for like a year. And you're that.
And Missy, in lesbian terms, that's like they're rededicating their wedding
I mean, okay, that is fair if we're gonna put it within those terms. But even by,
but yeah, I get what you're saying. The big thing for Edward is that he's giving up this noble sacrifice of choosing to live without her. He presumably the idea is he can live without, or she can live without him because she's only known him for a year. He can't live without her because he's eternally damned to this planet without a soul, and so she can't. He's gonna be thinking about her for the rest of his life, which is eternity. Obviously that's not what happens, but this is meant to be the Jacob book. This is meant to be the book that gives you the real choice between Jacob or Edward, and sell you, because like in the first movie he's just a kid. He's just like a kid that
is true. Right? Yeah, he has basically no role within it except just to introduce the concept that there are natives here. I'm one of the people that's from that tribe, and hey, we have some weird stuff about vampire talk about those Cullen folks. Lore. You should read into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is the book this one was really meant to be, and then it sets up those events. I will say the Volturi don't. I think they come back in 3, but it's really 4. Really, book 4 is where the Volturi have a big role again. So you might not get some Michael Sheen for a little while. You might have to wait a couple years.
You know what? It will happen.
They will come back.
I'm very glad to know though that the one who played Caius, the vampire on the far right, although I also said probably is a far right vampire, is played by Jamie Campbell Bower, who I was like, oh, why do I find them like familiar? But also I'm very attracted to them. Oh, it makes sense because he played Anthony Hope in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, the one that was made into a movie. And he was like the only thing in that film that I liked, and I had a huge crush on him then. So it only makes sense that, yes, of course, this is the character in the film that I'm going to find actually the hottest. Because it's just fucking Jamie Campbell Bower, whatever. Like, it's, okay, yes, that just answers itself.
Yeah.
And then it ends with them going back to Washington, Bella getting grounded forever by her dad because she went on a fucking trip to Italy and didn't tell him. Edward's...
She's 18, she's an adult, and she left.
Edward's creeping in the house because it's technically not against the rules because he didn't go through the door, he went through the window. And then they are going to go drive somewhere, and we think that's the end of the film, is them driving off. And then fucking Jacob comes and is in the middle of the road, and they all of a sudden have a fight and a face-off. And then Jacob just turns and leaves, and basically he's like, well, this is, I guess the end of this, but it won't be the last time. You won't see the end of this. And now I think is when we have to talk about the last part of the film. And by talk about the last part of the film, Alice, this is day 31. I still have 2
Yeah.
minutes left of this movie to watch because this
Oh,
movie
oh, oh! I
goes
completely
to
forgot this was a thing.
2:02.
Yes, yes.
And so, yes,
Okay, okay. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
I am going to
Yes.
hour 2, and we're going to watch the last. If I calculate, it might be a little bit more than 2 minutes, but I know I basically found when the credits started and made sure to bookend it then, so I didn't have the surprise I did the year before, where I thought an entire day left, and then all of a sudden the credits rolled, and I'm like, wait, it's done? It's not supposed to be done on day 29.
Yeah.
I'm left confused and heartbroken. So, for everyone who's listening, it is hour 2 of August. I'm here. I'm excited. On day 31.
Look at Bella's sad face.
Bella is sad.
Look at Bella's sad face.
Edward, he's fuzzy in the
Look at that.
background.
Look at that. You see the tear forming in Kristen Stewart's
Like,
left
she's
eye.
going to be
You
so
can see
good.
it.
And if you are following along and you want that last 2 minutes together with the watch along, this is when you're going to do it. In 3, 2, 1, boop. Okay. She looks downtrodden. She is. You shouldn't be. Oh, Edward agrees that Bella shouldn't become a vampire, which is what he voted. He voted it down mostly, anyways.
Yeah.
I can't do this alone. We'll be with her, him, what? Okay.
He can't.
He can't be with her.
She can't be able. She can't be alone.
Yeah.
Without him.
Just give me 5 years. Me doing Twaugust.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, literally.
It's too long. I'll be 24 by then, an old maid. Then 3 years. Oh wow, he's in the negotiating phase. 5 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
1 year, no years. What is it that you have to do? What are you waiting for? What's that? What's he gonna say that's gonna be so charming? He's thinking so hard about it. One condition. Oh no, he's making rules.
You know it's coming. You know it's coming.
You have to be 18 first. No. One condition and then forever.
You know what it is.
Say I love you. Oh, okay. I didn't see that coming.
This book is written by a Mormon
Yeah,
baby.
Okay, and the film, yeah, so even shorter.
Marriage before all. Marriage before all.
Interesting. I forgot this was directed by Chris Weiss.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Okay, I'm against high schoolers getting married. I'm especially against high schoolers getting married that young, and high schoolers getting that married
If
that young
they
to
if they wait a
100-year-old.
year, she'll be out of. If they wait a year, she'll be out of high school. She's in senior year right now.
That part is true. Like, but I just. Okay, I guess that's what this next film is her having a film / book long will they, won't she, will they, yes she, to the proposal. And that will be hanging over the head of this next book, is not just will I be with Jacob or Edward, but do I want to get married and do it this early? I mean,
And can I get turned into a vampire? Because if she gets turned into a vampire, it breaks the treaty. If the Cullens turn someone into a vampire on the tribe's land, it breaks the treaty. At which point, the vampires and the werewolves will be at war together.
yes, that right. That was a little nugget that they dropped toward the end there again, because he's basically like, I'm reminding you, if you're the one that turns her, this Jacob is, Moody Jacob's doing that. Yeah. Okay. I don't have a fucking clue what's going to happen in this next film. I don't even know if I could begin to predict. You have given me at least the nuggets that it is certainly something that will be about the love triangle. So that's going to be a focus of it. Mm-hmm. I know that obviously she doesn't pick Jacob in the end, but I don't know if there are rumbles, if we start getting fights between like Cullens and vampires versus werewolves in this one. I'm going to assume it's going to have to start, because you can't just like not have it and then the fourth book just be the all-out battle. Like you need to have skirmishes that start happening beforehand. I'm going to guess we're going to get some ancillary main side character deaths, and that's going to lead to like a point of no return to where Breaking Dawn is a vampire versus werewolves story. I know I have heard of the infamous battle scene and the extra details around that. I don't want to spoil in case people haven't seen it, because I know there's some people who haven't watched the films based simply on playing trivia last night.
Yeah, it's really a wonder why everyone hasn't watched the cinematic 5-piece masterpiece that is the Twilight
I know,
Saga.
but that's part of what I was talking about, is that it's interesting for me to actually watch these, because I knew we talked a lot about last year, the cultural perception of Twilight. We don't really have to get that much into it again this year, but it is just interesting.
It's really coming back, though. It's really coming
Yeah.
back.
Oh, yeah. You're showing me TikTok memes and I've seen it on Twitter. I mean, I've seen references even as much as last year between August and now, like the baseball scene. I saw several times reference, or just memes within it. In fact, my husband was saying that the Twilight films don't really have much of a cultural imprint anymore, and I'm like, they still do. Like, they're making a miniseries of it coming back.
It's gonna come back.
Yeah.
So if you were 12 when Twilight came out, you're like 28
Exactly.
now.
You're having kids,
And
and you're starting to tell them. You're naming your kids Bella or Jacob or Edward, and you're gonna start showing this like Harry Potter had a revitalization with kids because the millennials started having kids and things like that. It is fascinating to me, knowing that the miniseries is being worked on and that it will probably be released within the span of me doing Twaugust with the films. Like, I'm guessing it would.
Who knows? We're in the middle of a historic double strike.
I mean, that is true.
Industry.
Yes, we don't know when it's going to happen, but there's a chance.
Lionsgate may fully collapse next month, so
That's
who
true.
knows?
You know what? I guess it does wait to see for that. There is still that was a development between then and now, was the mini-series order that is going to be done for it. So maybe you get more of the high school story and more about the classmates and everything there within, since they really got the short shrift in this film. Anna Kendrick got a great scene where she goes out with Bella, and then Bella sees the exact same frat drunk boys from the previous Twilight film. And she's like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with them. That should be fun this time. Like, oh, Edward's not here to save me from it. Which is how she gets into motorbikes and almost like fucking kills herself by falling and getting into a boulder.
Because she wants to put herself in dangerous situations.
Now that I know that she's essentially like Bill Murray courting death in Groundhog's Day or whatever. Like, it's that's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. I can't even begin to like reanalyze the film, like knowing that information. Ugh. I think it was less fucked up when it was just Edward doing little intrusive thoughts versus her own body producing them. Like, that's, that's.
So very, very important to know is that this movie came out in 2009, which
my first year of college.
Yeah. So this is the same year Anna Kendrick is starring in Up in the Air, for which she gets an Academy Award nomination.
Oh, I didn't know that she was in Up in the Air.
Yeah, she plays the like younger sidekick lady to George Clooney in that movie. That was her first really big role. That Up in the Air comes out in September. New Moon comes out in November, and she's nominated for an Oscar the next year.
And then Pitch Perfect, I think it's 2010.
She gets really. I think so, probably, yeah. But my point is, she gets really famous, and she's still locked into doing these fucking Twilight.
Oh yeah, she's still playing the best high school friend of Bella. I'm assuming she appears in the last films as well. Like, she doesn't just go away.
Yep. No, I believe she's locked in for all of them.
I look forward to that. She's right. Everything that her character says is right.
She is not in Breaking Dawn Part 2, but she's in everything else.
She gets ate by a werewolf. Oh no.
Watching this movie again, like yesterday and today, because I haven't seen it in full in a while. I was impressed. I mean, like, I always liked the performance from Kristen Stewart in this movie, but I think it's really good. I think it's a lot more nuanced than I feel like at the time. A lot of the jokes about the Twilight movies were how all the performances were stiff and bad, and lots of pauses between dialogue and slow dialogue and stuff. And I feel like this performance she gives in this movie is pretty compelling.
It's a lot better than the first one for sure, where a lot of the line deliveries I used to joke, and a few moments in here too where I love making the joke that this feels like the SNL version of what a choice in Twilight would be.
Right.
This one, it was much more natural. Especially I think they just give her more to do. It's interesting seeing her having to react to Jacob's change. It's interesting seeing her react to Edward's abandonment of her, disappearance, and then they're reunited when they're reunited. I found it's interesting. She's never been my issue with these films. It's always been more the writing or directing or other things, because they're all doing at minimum what they're asked to do for this film. Like, Bella's a muted character. She's very depressed a lot of these times, so she's not having big reactions to things, although she can have great big reactions when needed. But yeah, I also like that her character isn't hysterical. She isn't like, going to an 11 all the time, or where it feels like a lot of movies would have to make their protagonists always funny all the time, or always like, gets the last word or whatever. Like, she kind of is reacting like a normal high school girl would in this weird world and situation. Making choices that me on the outside, not on the inside, are just going, no!
Yeah. Let's go back to the central question of this podcast. Bobby Pats.
I was shocked to learn last night that the abs in this movie were spray painted on him. And that the abs of Jacob were also spray painted on him. And that the boys went together on a pact, and they're like, we're not going to go like insanely crazy, going super fit like Marvel film peoples do and destroy their body doing this. And I'm like, I have respect for both of you actors so much more than I did before. Because honestly, when I saw those cum gutters, I was like shocked and whenever people are too cut and too swole, it honestly makes me sick. It is a turnoff for me, because all I can think about is the stress they're putting on their body to maintain that physique. And like, well, yeah, sometimes it can be hot. I'm also just sort of like, fucking eat some ice cream every once in a while. Like, Jesus Christ, your life must be miserable for these sacrifices that you're making to be like that fat. Obviously, I'm not talking about people who just look healthy, but people who are doing the Marvel level to get those abs where you are seeing it with 0% body fat that normal people don't have, and talk about fucked up body perspectives and all of that, but also I understand seeing this why a bunch of women also were like, holy fucking shit, these two are hot, and I can't wait to get more films of these two doing their thing. Funny
story about that, how that went.
Go ahead, tell me more.
I'm just saying because Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner have both had really weird film careers. Like, neither of them really went on to be like heartthrobs or in
Oh yes, for sure.
Like that.
I was speaking specifically about the Twilight films. People were looking more forward to seeing them in those.
Yeah.
You're right. And then both of them, Robert Pattinson, I feel like, is also doing what Daniel Radcliffe did, which is we got all the money we will ever need in our lives from these franchises, and now I'm just going to say yes to whatever the fuck I want. You don't say yes to The Lighthouse because you're trying to have stardom. You're just doing it because you're like, I want to do this. And I think he has pivoted so successfully. And also Kristen Stewart too as well. They have both pivoted successfully to careers as serious adult actors that have managed to very easily eclipse, no pun intended, this the shadow of their former careers on there. Like, yeah, pop culture wise, they are still, I'm sure, labeled that way, and it's a little bit harder to shake. But in terms of critically and artistically, they have definitely set themselves apart. And I enjoy seeing both of them whenever I get to briefly see them pop up and stuff. It hasn't been that often, but just because the types of movies I watch, not simply because they haven't made themselves available. I know they're starring in so much bullshit.
Have you considered watching the Batman 2022?
I have considered watching the Batman 2022, and do you know, it's funny because I had all the intention of doing that back then, and then I just never got around to it. I still need to see it. I like Batman stuff. I feel like Newcomers is going to be doing the Batman movies, the Lauren Lapkus and Nicole Byer series, and so I'll probably end up watching it around the time for that. But yeah, so I still don't know why Beaupas in terms of the Batman.
Well, but it seems like you're coming around on him with regard to Twilight, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I am getting to understand what he's doing a bit better, but Edward the character, yeah, no.
But this started because you were listening to me talk about Batman 2022 one day every month,
Yeah,
day in the month
of course.
of June when I did that podcast, and you kept saying, "Why Robert Pattinson? Why Robert Pattinson?" As though he had nothing of virtue to offer a role.
Well, no, it's me asking why Robert Pattinson because I had never seen. I don't understand what his deal is, what his persona is, what his thing. So it's not so much incredulity. Yeah. It is, I guess, it was a little bit of incredulity, just in the sense of I'm curious what he brings to that performance, but seeing this now, I can see a little bit why he'd be able to easily take on the more brooding angle of Bruce Wayne and that aspect of it, because he can go internally and play off that well, and Edward gets moments like that in these films to display that.
Yeah, and he has a charisma and charm that I think a less charismatic person playing Edward Cullen just wouldn't work the same way.
Oh, these last 2 minutes when he takes forever to say, "Will you marry me?" and he thinks about it and he's thinking and he's laughing at himself. I was like, oh, if Edward was more like this throughout all the films, I think I would like him a lot more, because that is incredibly charismatic and very understandable, which I don't feel like. Because I feel like Edward has to be so serious, and like he's always responding to what Bella says with like the most be like, "No, this is you can't," or "No, it's always in the context of Bella." So just seeing him having a moment where he was just thinking to himself and seeing the gears turn in his head, it's like, yeah, Robert Pattinson can act. He can do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
Oh my God! You had like the thesis was that I had an anti.
Missy has been compromised to a person.
I've been compromised. She will have a burial at sea and won't be notified. You won't be able to see the body afterwards. No, I mean, but here's the thing: is we have 3 more films to do, and who knows how my opinion will shift and change on these, especially because we get more stiff. I'm still going to have to explore more Robert Pattinson performances. Maybe do I watch more in between then and now as like supplemental to August research? Do I wait until it's done? I don't know. It's really going to depend.
I think you can watch other stuff. If you're sticking to this format of one Twilight book per year, essentially, then I think you can watch the other stuff in between. I don't think you should wait 3 years to watch Batman and Remember Me and Good Time and all the other things he's been in.
I don't think I'm going to watch Remember Me. I don't.
Oh, you should watch
No,
Remember
I'm not going to watch Remember Me. No, you're not going to get... I already know the gotcha, so you can't get me with that gotcha. So I have no reason to watch that movie. Absolutely.
But you have to watch it to understand how they get to the gotcha.
I don't have to. I really don't have to.
We have a different podcast for that.
We have a different podcast for that. Yeah, I think the one that I'm actually most curious about is Good Time. You mentioned it because I've just heard a lot about that one, and I knew it was sort of like a lot of people's turning point for him of being like, oh, can be serious, can act, yes, more of this Robert Pattinson, please.
Yeah. How about Kristen Stewart? Do I get some more Kristen Stewart in your life?
Well, I gotta see. So here's we've done this on our other show for things. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna just look and we're gonna list the things that I have or haven't seen from both of them, so we can get. I don't think his was great. Is don't have to do that for Taylor because there's not a lot and we definitely haven't seen it.
Did you watch the music video for Taylor Swift that he's in?
No, I didn't. Do I need to? I don't think I need to. Do I?
I mean, I don't know. It's good.
So the films that I know, well, the films that I know from Casey off the top of my head is I did see both of the Huntsman films,
Yeah.
and so she was obviously in the first one, and then very famously was not in the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot she was in Zathura. Oh, that's one of my husband's favorite films, and she's okay. So I haven't seen Panic Room, which I think she's kind of big in that.
Yeah, she's the kid. She's the kid in that. Yeah.
I didn't see Into the Wild. I did see Adventureland, which I was
Yeah.
thinking of making a trivia question on if they made any films between Twilight and Twilight Saga. That one had to get cut, but the reason why is I knew Adventureland. I thought was in between the two of those. Yeah, then Snow White and the Huntsman. That's it.
There's a Woody Allen in there. It's not great.
That's it. No, that's it. That's all of hers that I've seen.
Yeah, because it's like Clouds of Silmarie, Spencer, which is great.
I didn't know she was. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I didn't know she was in Billy Lynn's
that movie's
Halftime Walk.
great.
I haven't seen Crime to the Future either, which I know she got a lot of praise for that performance.
Happiest Season, the bad movie that I love.
I have seen parts of American Ultra because Alex watched that parts of it, but no, that's it. So again, very few Kristen Stewart films. Let's jump over to to Robert.
We're forgetting a big one, the Charlie's Angel reboot.
I know you're making a joke, but my body just rejected the premise that is, quote, a big one so hard. I just had to, like, stare off into space and be like, oh, my God, that is a movie that does not exist. Okay, so the film that Robert made between Twilight movies is Little Ashes, where he played Salvador Dali. This is going to be an easy one because I'm looking... Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we had established beforehand that the only thing I had seen him in was the Harry Potter film, Goblet of Fire, and that remains true. I've not seen any other movies of his, at all. So, do I maybe watch one film of theirs in between a year or something, or do I just go full wild? He has a film where he plays T.E. Lawrence, and it's called Queen of the Desert. Is it about him being like gay or whatever? I don't know. Oh, it's about Gertrude Bell. Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. I don't think any of these films draw me too much of that I want to watch them as part of the other issue, though. I don't know. High Life I'll watch, though. Or is it High Life or Good Life? Good Time. I'm getting the two of them mixed in. Good Time I'm going to watch.
Great Time.
It really? Is that good? I also want to see The Lighthouse.
No, that is a joking reference to something that will take me far too long to explain.
That's fine. It's not as easy to explain as hashtag self-suck, which is back on the menu.
Self-suck is back on the menu. Yeah, we're just crossing all the podcast streams here. The other premise of this year's episodes was hashtag Team Missy.
Yeah.
Do we all still need to be hashtag Team Missy?
I think so. So the reason why I'm hashtag Team Missy this year is August is just my 1 year anniversary, and I was sort of like in my own way just using this time to kind of take it back and enjoy a time capsule of where I am in my journey now versus where I was a year ago. And so part of the reason I'm hashtag Team Missy is that I am much more embracive of the fact that I am Missy, and so it is a lot more easier to like record these and get it on there. But in terms of like who I would pick and who, like, if I was a hashtag Team Missy on here, my problem is I would want to be Bella's best friend. I would want to be her Anna Kendrick. I would want to be her best friend that is like telling her like you need to get your shit together and actually predicting all the things that are going to go wrong because she's not thinking straight. And then I don't know. Does she? I want to know what her love like is when she turns 18. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't get any romantic. Like all of the other people are paired off within that, but Anna Kendrick doesn't have her character doesn't have anyone in these films. So I'm curious if that becomes a subplot within it, or if she's always just the best friend that's on there. Because I'll play single best friend. I will do that, and it's totally fine. And I will get a leftover shirtless vampire or a leftover vampire, or not shirtless vampire, shirtless werewolf, or a vampire when it's done. Maybe by that time, things are better. Caius and I can go out on the Italian villa, late at night, of course.
She gets a lucrative a cappella career when she goes off to college is what she gets.
I saw you have a smile and I wondered what you were going to say, and that is worth it because that's absolutely true. We know that's true.
Yeah. I was smiling because I was thinking about what actually happens, and it's so less exciting.
It's so less exciting than even I got into there. Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remain #Team Alice for Alice.
Oh, of course.
Because she's the best character in the series.
Yes, I mean that. Honestly, that would probably be the one that happens. I would be Caius's fuck girl, and then go home with Alice and just be like, oh, what a day.
Also, Jasper was a Confederate soldier in the Civil War. He ain't eating her out. He's not eating her out.
What is with Jasper Steele? Like, I'm glad I saw that the actors, her and Nikki, or him and Nikki Reed were like friends in real life, because he's going to need some friend, because playing the Confederate asshole who jumps on Bella because she gets a paper cut, like, dude, control yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for next year. This isn't, I'm not dreading doing the next couple of years with this, because I'll always at least have this movie as like a apex for what these films can be, because I feel like I'm starting to get what a Twilight film can be.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll kind of see, where it goes on from there. I'm also happen to see, I didn't mean to do this when I looked up Jasper Hale, that Renee's May Cullen comes on here. So I'm not looking at anything more of this except for that just underneath, she was born on September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest disaster to ever happen on that day besides the movie Remember Me.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
You got
Why
me.
Bopa has been answered.
Why Bopa's been answered. Alice, I really look forward again to doing this next year, especially because we'll get to sit down and have this conversation again. I love it when I get to talk to you on our shows about things that you love. I also love seeing it when you hate something. That's a fun, different kind of stuff. But it always is fun when I am getting sort of introduced to a culture, a world that I don't know anything about, and someone else is able to give me that clue in of being like, yeah, no, these are why these things are like the good, or the way they, why the people who like this thing. But I'm good to put this to rest. It's good to be able to do them after recording each episode definitely daily, and not recording some days, in bulk and uploading them with a timestamp that has a different day on it. It's definitely a daily 4-minute podcast. So
yes, definitely a daily
4-minute podcast. Hey, I got them all in by the 30th. That was the one thing. I got them in by the day that they were on. So I'm happy about that much. I wonder, we're not going to be able to do 4 minutes next year. I feel like we're going to have to up it up. I hope it's like 4:20. That would just be, of course, perfect for Missy. I know it's probably going to work out to like 4:17 or some stupid number like that.
Like 4:13, like Batman Returns.
Yeah. I love Batman Returns. Oh my God. Michelle Pfeiffer. Ugh. She's just so good. And Danny DeVito. Oh, the hottest he's ever looked on camera. And only slightly more pale than the vampires in this movie.
Have you watched that movie lately?
You
It's
realize I'm
horrific.
making a joke. You realize I'm making a joke. Danny DeVito, God bless him. I love him. He'll never hear this. He's never been sexy in his life. I don't think he's
I
necessarily been unattractive, but I don't think he's ever been sexy.
I don't know. Have you seen those Jersey Mike ads?
No, I haven't. So, okay. Is he rubbing the mayonnaise all over him?
No, it's not an episode of It's Always Sunny.
Okay, good. You know what's great is that it's funny. I always feel like I need to be saying at the end of every, Twodcast or every
Yeah.
episode, we always say, 'cause that's usually what we do for other stuff, but we don't got to say a damn thing at the end of Twodcast.
Yeah, this is your podcast. Take us out.
Vampire Law. We got it. And ladies and gentlemen, she got me.